Marmon 16 Convertible Sedan by LeBaron 1933. The Marmon 16 looks like no other car. It borrows little from the past. It will lend much to the future. It is the one example of unhampered coordination of effort by artist and engineer. Marmon Advertising, 1931. The Marmon car was built in Indianapolis, by Nordyke and Marmon. The firm had produced flour milling machinery for more than half a century before automobiles came along. Family Cy and Howard Marmon built their first car in 1902. This brilliant, highly regarded engineer would lead the Marmon Company to worldwide fame and acceptance. In 1911, the first Indianapolis 500 race was won by a Marmon Wasp racer. By the teens and 20s, a sporty Marmon was quite the proper car for any occasion. When the Depression started to bite in the late 1920s, Marmon dug in and reached for the top, bringing the V16 engined automobile that they'd begun designing in 1927 to fruition. The model debuted in 1931. Extensive use of aluminum in the construction of the power unit meant that even with its 16 cylinders, and capacity of over 8 liters, the engine's comparatively modest 422 kilograms weight for its era provided an extremely good power-to-weight ratio. The power output at 200 bhp made it the second most powerful engine available, ahead of Cadillac's V16, but comfortably shy of Duesenberg's extra 65 horses. Matching the quality of its highly advanced mechanical aspects, Marmon offered its clientele individual coachwork designs all styled by LeBaron. A quality product never did come cheap in the auto industry, as such Marmon needed to sell their marvel for $5,000. In the early 1930s that proved to be a tall order and they were to deliver just 390 V16 cars from 1931 to 1933, before lack of sales forced them into bankruptcy. However, true to form, from those ashes the company went on to produce Marmon Harrington four-wheel drive conversions for decades. Designated a full classic by the CCCA, today the Marmon 16 continues to be marveled at for its engineering prowess, and to earn its justifiable position in history, reflecting its importance they are understandably coveted and reside in some of the great collections across this country and around the world. Built in the twilight of Marmon's operational existence in the last year of production, this 16 is one of only 56 produced in 1933 before the factory closed. While the pre-WEI ownership history of the 16 is not documented, according to the Dyke W. Ridgely's records from the Marmon 16 roster, chassis 16 145-947 was delivered new as featuring a LeBaron-built convertible sedan body designed by the great Walter Dorwin Teague Sr. Originally finished in light yellow over brown saddle leather, it is first recorded as being in the garage of a Mr. Wilder of Willits, California in 1953, when it was sold by him to a mechanic in Los Angeles who owned 2 other 16s. 2 years hence, the car moved east to Theodore Ted Groner of Churton, Ohio. Groner kept the car for 11 years, but by the end of his ownership tenure, it appears to have mostly sat. The next owner, Jos Bebby Varostuk of Maple Heights, Ohio kept the car from 1966 through 1974, again doing little with it before selling it to Marshall B. Belden of Canton, Ohio in October of '74. In Belden's ownership, a restoration was begun in the late 1970s. The work proceeded slowly though, and by 1990 the car was in the collection of the Canton Classic Car Museum in Canton, Ohio, still in a state of restoration. Remaining partially restored for a subsequent 22 years, it was only when it entered the collection of the current owner that a proper effort to complete the restoration was undertaken. Beginning in the summer of 2012 and taking over 3 years, the Marmon was stripped down and restored to a conquer level by Old Iron Works of Montgomery, Texas. Documented in a massive file of over 850 pages of receipts, notes, and letters, invoices total over $691,000 for the work completed. Finished in navy blue with black fenders and top over caramel brown leather interior, the restoration was finished in September of 2015. Shown at the 2016 Alt Park Concord Elegance and at a few shows locally, the Marmon has been minimally shown otherwise. Driven and shown sparingly since the restoration, this Marmon 16 is now ready for its next lucky owner. With only about 60 surviving 16s in existence, a mere 11 of which are convertible sedans, this is a rare opportunity to acquire a not often seen legend from the classic era. ACCCA Full Classic. It is both eligible and welcome to many tour events in addition to being a likely showstopper at any number of concours events.